when we're working with this intention of reclaim, we also want to make sure that we're carving out some time to restore and replenish our energy and emotional reserves. Intentions such as this can take a lot of our energy, and it can be challenging work. It's necessary work and it's empowering work, but we also want to balance that out with some practices that will help to feed our energy source. So that's what we'll be moving through in this yin practice. You might want to have a blanket, a bolster, or a pillow for some support if you'd like to have that within your poses. And we'll just get started in a comfortable seat. Just always want to take that moment to arrive and center into our body, into our being, and into our practice. Close the eyes down, soften the shoulders, soften the face. And just spend a few moments noticing the breath. Let the breath drop deeper into the body. For a few rounds, just breathing in a more conscious, more expansive way. In through the nose, out through the nose. Join the hands to the heart, and maybe you just take a moment to set intention for practice. In reclaiming my power, I also need to restore and replenish my energy. In reclaiming myself, I must also nourish and nurture from within. Take another deep breath. This time breathe in through the nose and sigh from the mouth. Blink the eyes open. We'll take the soles of the feet to touch. We'll start with a bound angle pose. Take the heels a little bit further away. If you have a pillow or bolster or blanket that you want to use for support here, sometimes I place it right on my feet. We're working mainly with the kidney line, so anytime we're working to replenish reserves in our body, it's usually for the adrenals or the kidneys. The kidney lines run through the inner ankle and all the way up through the inside of the leg. So this pose right away will help to access that part. You can just let the body drape forward. If you're using a prop, you can turn your head one way. I'll give you a cue about halfway through, so you can turn it to the other side. You can also do this pose without props and just really allow gravity, allow the body to drape forward without the support. That's a beautiful practice as well. I'm going to flip my palms up. This is a signal of being in that receptive mode. In these yin poses, we have the opportunity to really be with ourselves. So as you start to settle more into the shape, take a scan through the body and notice where you might be holding, resisting, where some tight corners are that you can invite in a little bit more space. You don't have to force the breath too much in these poses, but rather just let it flow naturally. Let the belly be soft and relax the shoulders. If at any time you feel an intense emotion or feel a bit scattered in your thoughts, you might choose to take a deep breath, and this can be a nice reset in the pose. and a reminder to come back to self. If you have your head turned to one side, just go ahead and turn it the other way so we keep everything balanced. Also, in this pose, we can get a sense of the energetic space of the kidneys, the adrenals. So even as you're softening into the belly and breathing into the belly, also try to breathe a little bit into the lower back area. And just give yourself about 3 more breaths here. Really easeful, really spacious breaths. And as you start to release, do so very slowly, supporting. Very gently rise up to a straight spine. And just pause. You can let the palms rest down on the knees. Keep the eyes gently closed. Breathe. You might feel a shift in energy, some movement, emotion, sensation. It's totally natural. Let's take a deep breath here. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you had a prop for support, just place it off to the side. Take your right leg and bring it across the top of your mat, and then bend the left knee behind you. So it's almost similar to pigeon pose, except the back leg stays bent. I'm just going to turn the other way on my mat so you see it from this angle. So it's right leg across the top, and then left knee is bent back. Now this left sit bone is going to try to lift. Try to keep it pretty grounded. And again, you might want to choose a prop to place in front of you. And just start to drape your body forward. You might stay up on forearms, or you might come all the way down. So with the yin, you're always able to support, to prop yourself, adjust yourself in any way. We're seeking out sensation here, mostly in the outer part of the right hip. And then we're getting some constriction through the inner thigh, where that kidney line runs. So we always want both. We want expansion and we want contraction. And this is how we start to move the energy in the body, how we start to break through those blocks that might be held here. And then in doing so, we're replenishing, restoring. Soften all the little muscles in the face, the jawline, the eyes. And just be here and breathe. Take about 3 more deep breaths here. With as little disturbance as possible, come either to the forearms or the hands. And we'll be shifting into a full pigeon pose. So now taking that left leg, extend it back, shift the hips slightly so that the hip bones are more in alignment. And then you can settle back in to the shape and drape the body back down. Continue to let the body settle to notice with such gentle awareness where the body is trying to protect you. And then see if it feels safe to let go, to drop in deeper. And just take about 3 more deep breaths here. Very slowly start to rise the upper body. And just kind of sit over onto the right hip. Bring the left leg around and just come into a comfortable, easy pose for a moment and just pause and feel that in the body. Notice any sensation that you feel moving through the inner part of the right thigh. Now take the left leg across the top. We'll start with this half pigeon, so right knee is bent back behind us. Again, you might choose to have the prop in front of you, and then just go ahead and come down. You can always start on forearms, and maybe you come further as the body begins to open. So your practice to check in with what feels right for you. Feeling some sensation or opening in the outer part of the left hip, or expansion on the outer part, and then constriction in the inner part of the thigh on the left side. Right leg is just relaxed. Soften through the hips, the glutes. Take about 3 more deep breaths here. Again, with as little disturbance as possible, rise up, extend the right leg back. And you have to kind of shift so that the hips are a little bit more in line. You can always bring the left heel closer in to the groin as well if that helps you. And then again, you might stay on forearms as you start to settle into the pose. If the body begins to open more, you can always come down either to a prop or all the way to the mat. And then drop back in to self, drop back into stillness. Remember, the breath is there as your touch point, as your anchor. If it starts to feel too intense, just come back to the breath. Take about 3 more deep breaths here. Continue to stay in that state of surrender. Maybe even letting go even more for this last breath. Very slowly take your time. Lift the upper body, sit over onto the left hip. Carefully sweep the right leg around, come to easy pose, cross-legged seat. Just pause and breathe and notice. From here, shift onto the knees. If you have blocks or a bolster, you can use it for this pose. It's not necessary. You can take your elbows either onto your prop or onto your mat. And then press the palms together, prayer hands. Start to walk the knees back. And as you do that, you're going to let the chest and the head drop down. And then the palms, the prayer hands, come back. So your thumbs touch the base of your neck. Again, you can do this without the prop. You can also do this with the arms extended straight if the reverse prayer position is too much. Just let the heart melt down. Let the chest expand, let the belly release. With this back bend, we're applying some pressure. We're almost squeezing the kidneys slightly. Right, this is again going to help us to replenish, right, as we release toxins, release stagnant energy. And then when we come out of the pose in a few moments, we get that hit of replenishment, that fresh flow of energy, of oxygen, of prana, life force energy. And take about 3 more really long, really deep breaths here. Notice what this pose brings up for you, if anything. Anytime we're in a heart opener, back bends, it can be vulnerable. It can certainly bring something that may have been previously hidden to the surface. One more breath. Be gentle as you come out. Shift back forward onto forearms. Just come back to sit on the heels or back to easy pose. Flip the palms to the sky and just breathe. Relax the shoulders, the chest, the back. Blink the eyes open. We'll be finishing our practice lying in a prone position. I do recommend, if you have a blanket or a pillow, to use it here. We'll be placing it under our lower belly. I'm going to use my bolster and my blanket. You can roll your blanket up to make it a little bit higher. When you come to lie down, you want this to be right at the lower belly. It's probably going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's kind of meant to. Arms can just kind of cactus out, or you can support the head, whatever feels best. Let the big toes angle towards each other and the heels relax out to the sides. Once you're here, just send some love, send some breath to the kidneys. Once you're here in this shape, in this more open and receptive state, maybe you invite in the question, you begin that inner dialogue of where are the areas, the relationships, the encounters that I'm feeling disempowered, that I feel as if I'm not stepping fully into my authentic self. I'm not claiming my worth and my value. There might be something obvious that comes to mind right away. If there's not, that's totally okay. It may surface at another time. Often just having that awareness and beginning that conversation will open us up to be receptive and to notice where in our life this might be occurring, where we might be giving away our power, leaking our energy. And with this practice, it's giving you the opportunity to replenish, to restore, and maybe shifting some of that perspective and starting to gain more insight around what those areas might be for you, and then starting to take action. To take action from this state, from a replenished, a nourished state, rather than from a state of depletion or exhaustion, fatigue. The intention of reclaim is a powerful one. And so we have to support ourselves very deeply in doing that work. I invite you to lie here as long as you can. The longer the better. You can always take the prop away as well and just lay on the belly, connecting into the earth energy. Or you can keep the prop where it is. And just be with yourself for a little while. Give yourself this gift of stillness. And trust and know that you do have the power within you. And I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Namaste.